The Kubernetes blueprint on AWS ClearScale Marketplace offering helps customers to adopt EKS, which is the managed AWS managed Kubernetes service. What are some of the reasons folks would use Kubernetes and an EKS on AWS?
Well, I think, it's important to understand that Kubernetes is an open source orchestration framework, and it allows you to manage and scale your applications as you see fit, and also allows you to have third-party plugins easily integrated within your container environment. And specifically to EKS, it kind of takes a layer that abstracts a little bit further, right? So it allows you to have that orchestration framework without managing the underlying hardware. And that's where a lot of customers are seeing value within EKS and containers on AWS in general. And so that's what our offering does is allow them to expedite this process and empower them to use cloud native containers within AWS.
So we look at EKS, the Elastic Kubernetes Service or managed Kubernetes on AWS. What are some of the components that make that up? Will I have access at the operating system level to the control plane? What about the worker nodes? Will I have access to those?
Yeah, so it's an orchestration tool, right? And so you have access to the control plane, but you're more so focused on the tasks that you're executing within your application. So using Kubernetes control plane within AWS abstracts a layer from managing the hardware that lies underneath, allowing you to focus more on the Kubernetes services and the tasks to drive your application forward and ultimately innovate for your business.
Got it. So the control plane is presented to me as a managed service, so I have access to the
Correct.
Kubernetes aspect,
Mm-hmm.
but the underlying nodes, I'm offloading that to AWS.
Correct, and that's what's special about EKS is that control plane is presented as a managed service. So you can have all the benefits and features of control plane without all the headaches of it as well.
Got it. And so if I've got custom containers and things that I need to install on the worker nodes, do I have access to the worker nodes to be able to configure them the way that I need to?
You do. In worker nodes you have complete access to allow you to, like I said, have those third-party plugins or be able to customize your application as you see fit, again, without having to worry about the underlying hardware within AWS.
Got it. And so what if I wanted to have the worker nodes be managed as well? I wanted to abstract those. I just want to work with containers at the control plane and the worker node level.
Yeah.
Does EKS offer an option?
So I think that use case would be great for Fargate within AWS. And Fargate is a serverless container offering within AWS that does just what you asked for. Allows you to focus more on the tasks and services more than anything else within the AWS environment to be able to grow and scale exponentially.
The Kubernetes blueprint on AWS offering that ClearScale has available on the marketplace is perfect for helping customers adopt exactly what we're talking about. Not only is it microservices ready, but it's also multi-team ready. So many companies, when they're adopting Kubernetes, we need a cluster in dev, test, or prod, or all three, but we have multiple development teams they're going to be deploying to it. So what does that look like? The Kubernetes blueprint on AWS marketplace offer from ClearScale answers those questions from day one. But yet we still work with the customer to help them understand what it is exactly they need out of that Kubernetes cluster, and we can customize it to whatever the customer needs. But it gives them a point to start to leverage some of the benefits that you're talking about in a way that's meaningful to their business.